Hi, my name is Stephanie Alvarez, and I will be presenting my senior thesis on the importance of human resources and organizational leadership in any organization or business, more specifically covering the Peace Corps. Now, before I get into why I chose to talk about the importance of human resources and organizational leadership skills, I want to talk about why I chose the Peace Corps, other than the fact that it's more specific and isn't a necessarily broad take on the importance of these two disciplines. The Peace Corps is an agency that services 141 host countries, and by services I mean volunteers apply to the Peace Corps and actually are recruited, screened, and sent to these different host countries and are basically serving in regards to health, education, youth and development, agriculture, and other aspects that are needed in impoverished communities. Now, the Peace Corps mission is to help the people of interested countries in meeting their need for trained men and women. 2, to help promote a better understanding of Americans on the part of the people served. And 3, to help promote a better understanding of other peoples on the part of Americans. Basically what that means is they are interested in helping communities build better lives for not only themselves, their children, their country, and again, just the communities involved. The Peace Corps was actually established March 1st of 1961 by John F. Kennedy. And the reason being is that John F. Kennedy wanted to establish a program similar to what the Soviet Union was doing at the time, which was sending volunteers to go and help out different communities. So, for example, the Soviet Union was sending hundreds of nurses, doctors, engineers, scientists to different parts of the world and building relationships with different countries and communities. And in total, the Peace Corps, just to reach up more on how far the Peace Corps has come today since the establishment was started, there have been over 230,000 volunteers who have joined, which is pretty impactful. And again, I don't know if I've mentioned this, but they've serviced 141 different host countries, which is very substantial and incredible. The size of impact the organization has made around the world is crucial to helping those involved in socioeconomic communities that may not otherwise have privileges, as we do in first world countries. So, again, I chose to talk about the Peace Corps due to its benevolent nature and its importance it has, the importance it has. Now, addressing the issue. So, for an organization to work, it's pretty easy to say that strong leadership will cause the organization to be led successfully. And with that being said, there have been instances, and there's always going to be instances in organizations where problems arise, and it's up to good human resource skills and organizational leadership to actually address these issues. So an example of poor leadership would be an executive of a department that doesn't value its subordinates, employees, team workers, the team involved. Another point I wanted to make involving problems regarding lack of HR and organizational leadership in terms of the Peace Corps is the Kate-Housie Act that was implemented, that was signed as a law by Barack Obama in 2014. And the reason why this was signed is due to the fact that a volunteer by the name of Kate-Housie actually suffered a great deal due to lack of training and preparedness, readiness per se. And I'll get a little bit more into that in a second. Another topic I wanted to talk about is the evaluation report of training Peace Corps overseas staff. Now, this is a public report granted by the General of Operations in the Peace Corps, and basically this report showed that there was not enough training involved, which brings me back to the Cape-Hoosie Act. So the Cape-Hoosie Act is basically an act that requires more intensive training to be prepared and safeguarded in instances where people are at risk of their lives. So Cape-Hoosie actually serviced in Africa in the educational spectrum, the educational sector, and what she did was teach a group of youth, and she was a very strong advocate of female empowerment. She had found out that one of her fellow volunteers was actually sexually assaulting and abusing some of the schoolgirls. And so what she did was she addressed it to, she reported it over to the headquarters, and once she got back home from her service, she was actually found dead in her home, and this was in relation to the fact that she had gotten the volunteer who was involved with the sexual abuse suspended from the program. So the Cape-Hoosie Act actually is an act that requires the Peace Corps to take the necessary steps to prepare readiness in these instances. Also, there needs to be a strong organizational structure. Going back to the evaluation report of training Peace Corps overseas staff, it's necessary that there's strong training implemented, strong recruitments, and a stronger sense of maintaining all files regarding the trainers involved. And that can be done by human resource professionals as well as any other leadership department involved. So why an interdisciplinary approach? Again, as I've been saying, it's to prevent problems that arise or hinder the overall positive effects the Peace Corps has on these impoverished countries. Lack of organizational leadership and human resources can basically, again, hinder any progression or functionality involving the organization. And this can be applied to any business and any organization. But again, I wanted to apply it to the Peace Corps because I feel like the Peace Corps is a very, very important agency that needs this structure. Cognitive solutions and problem preparedness. Now, so cognitive solutions and problem preparedness could easily go back to training again. I keep emphasizing training due to the Cape-Hoosie situation. I feel like if there was a stronger head of HR or stronger organizational leadership skills, there would have been stronger training and probably even more conferences that involved how to avoid these dangerous situations. Now, a little bit more over organizational leadership. All successful and progressive leaders all share very strong qualities that involve the sustainability of an organization. For instance, providing direction, guidance, and activity structuring to a collective. Members of the collective in turn grant the leaders permission to influence them, and that was said by Zakaro and Klimovsky in a report that I did research on. Next, I wanted to talk about why human resources is a fundamental part of the functionality of an organization. Human resources has the capacity to offer many benefits that in turn reduce employee turnover rates. If you have higher turnover rates, you're not having a solid group of people that are knowledgeable and experienced in their department or area, which is why it's important to treat employees as valuable assets and not just cogs in the system. And a little bit more over this, the Peace Corps actually released an evaluation report in 2014 that suggested that human resource management should develop more intensive methods to track supervisor training over overseas staff. And this is very important because in situations such as the Kate Puze incident, it's important to train volunteers to be prepared and be aware of the dangers at hand. Some of the benefits offered by Human Resources in the Peace Corps is offering 13 vacation days to volunteers. After serving 3 years, they're actually granted up to basically 20 days. And they also offer competitive salaries, which is always good to boost employee morale. They also offer 13 days of sick leave. They have other benefits such as relation to employee retention, again, and this can be all products of the benefits offered by the Peace Corps. There's also a tax-deferred savings plan that closely resembles the 401k plan. And there's a lot of different options for life insurance and health benefits. I hope you enjoyed my presentation, as the interdisciplinary approach of these two disciplines is crucial to avoiding problems such as the K-Puze situation, and why organizations should always be involved with staying on top of staff training, reducing turnover rates, and many other things, due to the fact that, again, the Peace Corps is a strong leading contender for world peace and bringing communities together and providing the necessary tools through volunteers involved. And so I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed my presentation. Here is a list of my references. Yeah, thank you.